I'm Matt Marco, and that's Jose Aliaga. Welcome to the Aliaga Marco Show. And Jose, it's been a long time, and I think it's because first you were working and helping the Social Security Administration. And
Yes, true, but I'm
and we're not, and at that time was not really doing any political work because you were helping them. And they didn't want you to do anything that would be considered partisan. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I cannot do anything. That's right.
But and then after that, you ran for supervisor of Independence Township and won. And I want to congratulate you on that because that is quite a feat. I know you've been the #1 vote getter many times around in the race for trustee on the Board of Trustees. But now you are the soon to be the official supervisor of Independence Township. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, Matt. And you know, there was a lot of hard work and dedication and passion because I have a lot of passion for what I do. But I think the most important message here is it's about the American dream. You know, in many other parts of the world, you cannot do that, just in America. That's why we need to protect the American dream. Because what the American dream is it doesn't matter, you know. In my case, you know, I have an accent, I come from Peru, I become a US citizen, but I always want to be in public service. And I work very hard. And when you work really hard, in America, you have all the opportunities to reach all your goals and dreams. And we need to be protected, you know?
And I love that story, Jose. And we Republicans are not into the identity politics and the grouping and all that the Democrats are so much into. But the reality is that you, as a Latino, are the first and only Latino that was elected as a township supervisor in the whole United States. And so that speaks volumes, not only for you as an individual, but also it says a lot about the Republican Party and the perception of it that the Democrats are always trying to promote.
That's right. As you see, Independence Township, 95% of the people are Caucasian, white people, you know, and most of the Republicans, 71% of the people of Independence Township are Republicans. You can see it in every election, and they're willing to vote for somebody who is Latino, because very much my platform is very conservative, and I believe my example speaks louder because I always, whatever I promise they're gonna do, I do it.
And I'd like to say also, you came up with a very strong platform. Not only did people vote for you, but you have twice as many votes as the next candidate that was running, and even more than that of the current supervisor who is running. And that means you've got, not only have you won, but you've got a mandate, and it says so much about you. But going back to what I was saying about the perception that Democrats are always trying to talk about this diversity and inclusion and all that. In the state of Michigan, the Democrats don't even have one Black person running for US Congress, whereas the Republicans have 3. That in itself is a good indication. And it shows you how this perception that they're always trying to put up is so flawed. And that and one of the things I really like about the Republican Party is that we see individuals. We don't group people. We don't label them. And the individuals for the content of their character and not for the color of their skin, to quote Martin Luther King.
Absolutely right. And you know, that perception you're talking about is created by the fake news, the liberal media.
Yeah.
But the facts talks totally different. Facts show you totally different than what they believe that are the facts. The facts are we have 3 Afro-American citizens. They are, won the primary. Yep. Actually, Gibbs, which is right there in Grand Rapids, he unseated Pete Meyers.
He ran against Peter Meyer.
Right.
Who is an incumbent running for re-election. And that is such a difficult thing to do, is to take out an incumbent.
And once again, in Grand Rapids, the population is no, we would say, a minority, exactly. And they're willing to vote for a minority candidate. Same thing in Independence Township, Oakland County. So that tell you right there, the Republicans are know what the media says we are.
That's right.
We're willing to vote for leadership,
That's
change, and a very good platform.
Republicans look at the individual person and their beliefs. They don't vote based on color of skin or all that nonsense, as you're saying. And they saw that Gibbs was a much better candidate and representative of their beliefs than Meyer. And Meyer, not only being an incumbent, but coming from a family which is very affluent and well established in the Republican Party. So it just shows you how open-minded the Republican electorate is, and hopefully that Gibbs will prevail in the general election now.
Well, and part of it is, you see, the primaries is what good indicator what people want. It's not that Myers is a bad person. It was his voting record. It's
Right.
how he approached the situation. This is about no more as a person he is. It's about a policy, how he react to the policy.
That's right.
And that's what happened. Same thing in Independence Township. People want change. They
That's
will expect a good job. If you support a Republican conservative, they want the result as a Republican conservative. They don't expect that you approach or starting making decisions as a liberal, because people want to see a real change. Who wants to raise their taxes? No one, and they keep raising taxes and some Republicans go along with that. And it's
And
a lot
that's a
of
good
things they're
segue right there.
Right.
Because one thing we want to talk about today is there's another ballot referendum that's going to be in Oakland County to raise our property taxes 1 mil, which I believe is $100 per thousand in value of a house. 1 mil for another transit proposal. And now this has been brought up and defeated several times in Oakland County, a transit millage, because we're already paying 1 mil. This will be almost 1 mil on top of that, Jose. And I think that our elected officials who voted to put this on the ballot have not been listening to the people they supposedly represent.
Exactly. You see, this primary in 2022, we already see a lot of Republicans that have been supporting Democrats' views that lost their seat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this just happened after the primary. Very smart move for some of them. They have been supporting this. What happened is Dave Woodward, a county commissioner from Royal Oak, who is a Democrat, is pushing it over and over and over. And this is not a good solution for anything, because basically what he's saying is, let's tax the whole county to provide some money and services and some extra money funding for Royal Oak, Ferndale, some of the south of Oakland County. But why Brandon, Oxford, Orion, Clarkston, Independence Township, Springfield, and so forth, Holly, and many others have to pay for that if we don't get any benefit out of it? And I believe if they really want to raise taxes, they can actually, the Royal Oak, Ferndale, Hillside Park, or whatever the cities on the, also I think in Wayne County too, some of those cities, if they want to raise their taxes, do it, but not involve everybody else, because we don't get any benefit out of this proposal.
Right, and this proposal does not have an opt-out provision that previous ones have had, because there's a lot of areas, as you just listed, that will get no benefit from this. It'll just raise their taxes. And regarding raising the taxes, already because of the Biden inflation, the inflation based on Democrat policy from the spending and taxing and printing of money, because of that, our property taxes are going to go up just because of an inflation formula. I think
right.
At about 5%. So our property taxes are going up anyway. To add another mill on top of that is totally uncalled for, especially in an inflationary time like we're in right now.
100% agree with you, Matt. And what happened here is most of these politicians are out of touch. When I say this, it's because I'm the type of guy that I like to knock on doors. I knocked more than a couple thousand doors this summer. I talk to a lot of people, and you feel their pain, I feel their pain. They don't want more taxes at this point.
Right.
Inflation hurts every single families.
Right.
It's very expensive to put home gas on the car. It's very expensive to buy some food for your family and provide your family. Gas, electrical bills, basic bills went up. Everything's going up. Salaries didn't increase that much. Why Oakland County wants to raise more taxes? That show you right there, they're out of touch. These politicians never knock on doors, never talk to more than 100 people per month. They don't know what's going on. When election season comes, they always do this kind of thing, send you a postcard, vote for me, I'll support lower taxes, but they never do. I know some Republicans too, they did support this proposal, even though we, the board in Independence Township, told those guys, we don't want this because it does not benefit us. They didn't care. They don't listen. We even actually, the whole board of trustees approved a proclamation against this proposal. They didn't care. Unbelievable.
Right. And the Board of Commissioners is supposed to be representing those people that are being so vocal, saying we do not want this. And the thing is, when it comes to transit, Jose, I've seen those buses going up and down Woodward and different places, and they're usually either empty or mostly empty. There's a very low ridership of these things. And just to have more empty buses doesn't seem like it's going to create or solve any problem. On top of this, I think we should have learned from this pandemic that grouping people together in buses and all that is just another way to spread viruses and things like that. Whereas perhaps we should realize now that that people are probably better off going in rideshare programs and things like that, and Ubers and all that, as opposed to packing them together into buses where they can spread these viruses. Also, as a result of the pandemic, so many people now are working out of their homes and stuff, so there's really not that much more demand. In fact, a decreased demand for this kind of transportation.
100% I agree with that. It's absolutely true. If you remember, Ronald Reagan believed in lowering taxes or keeping taxes low is putting more money back to the people. And actually, at the end of the day, it generates more revenue, because when you get people, more people keep their money, they end up spending more money. And reactive economy. Right. But when you tax so high, what it does is taking money away from the people, and people starting spending less money. So that doesn't help the economy. Every economist is going to tell you that. But the Democrats, once again, they don't learn it. They don't know it. I don't know how to explain this, but Ronald Reagan used to say it's not like Democrats are ignorant. It's just they just know the wrong way.
See, another thing, Jose, when you are taxing people, taking the money out of their pocket, you're making the whole community less competitive against other communities, and you're going to lose the tax base. And one of the big differences between Republicans and Democrats, as I always say, is that Democrats think you raise money by raising taxes. Republicans think you raise money by cutting taxes. You make your communities more desirable, more businesses come in, more people come in, and you increase the tax base. Also, based on what you were just saying, Jose, which is so smart, if people have more money in their pocket, they can afford to buy an Uber or hire an Uber or a taxi or other things. They can take care of their own transportation. If there is the need for a bus to be going up and down, let's say Dixie Highway or something like that, where there is no bus, there could be a private company that buys a bus and runs it up and down there, because they'll see there's enough demand. Supply and demand has to be the regulator of these types of things, and not some government that thinks that they're going to run buses where people aren't, where you can have empty buses. So if you're right, if people have the money in their pocket, they can afford to pay for a bus. And then a lot of times in a community, you might have local businesses or a chamber of commerce may want to subsidize something like that for their own needs.
That's right. Now, our senior center have some services of transportation, small, and our directors told us during that meeting, when one of the county commissioners came to address this issue, or this proposal, told us this proposal is going to hurt directly Independence Township or senior center, and it's going to affect very much, I believe, other senior senators from other communities. Now, we already have the facts. We showed that to our commissioner from Clarkston and Waterford, and they didn't care. It's actually, instead helping the northern of Oakland County, is gonna end up hurt everybody. Besides, we're not getting any benefits on top of that. So we won't get benefits, we get the taxes raised, and they're gonna actually take away some of the rights, actually.
Right.
And it's sad. And it's sad because they know that. It's not like they didn't know about it. And they squeezed this proposal after the primary too. Because I'm pretty sure if this proposal was on June or July or way before,
Right.
I'm pretty sure some of these people will have some challenger, you know,
That's right, they
on the
get
primary.
because we've got precedent of actually incumbents that lost because of challengers from raising taxes after they ran on platforms of not raising taxes. And it's
Exactly.
shocking to me that we actually had Republicans in the county commission that voted to
Mhm.
put this on the ballot.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, we've in the past had Brooks Patterson, the county executive, the late Brooks Patterson, who protected us from this. And it's a shame that now that he has died and is gone, we're being subjected to this kind of abuse of trying to raise our taxes, and is going to upset what has made Oakland County such a great county and competitive in the state of Michigan.
It's true. And a lot of people realize that too. We can feel the changes. You know, I like changes, but I like the changes when are positive, you know?
Yes. You know, another thing that is also indicative of Jose, because of Brooks Patterson and conservative governance has made Oakland County such a great place to live. A lot of people have moved out of Detroit and Democrat areas to enjoy living in Oakland County. And unfortunately, they come and they still bring their voting and their government, their way of thinking with them, and they start voting for the type of policies that has created what they wanted to leave in the first place.
True. And everybody knows, the taxpayers know how to spend their money better than government.
Yes. Anyway, Jose, I want to also mention, I see that your background you're using is that from our Facebook page, the Aliaga Marco Show page, and that's the where that comes from. So that's something for people. We can start connecting with people more that way as well on these great topics. And again, Jose, I want to congratulate you on your win. And you are I'll refer to you as the supervisor-elect of Independence Township.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, Jose. Until the next time.